Yeah. Yep.
Go!
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Narellan, Australia for tonight's CIL Formula C Australian Grand Prix, just outside of Sydney, Australia, here tonight for this wonderful race here at Oran Park Raceway. I'm Matthew Nordberg. Joining me up in the booth for tonight's broadcast is Josh Crane, and we've got a great race on board here tonight around this short 1.62 mile track. Current temperature in the air right now, 86 degrees, Josh. It's going to be a super tricky track for these drivers tonight at a track they might not have driven too much on the surface.
Yeah, that's 100% correct. Oran Park, one of the free tracks on iRacing, and the barrier to entry is low again tonight, but these drivers will have to be learning this track. It's down in Australia. It's not as popular here if you're in Europe or North America, perhaps, and nonetheless is very fun, kind of technical. It does flow, and so there's probably about one real straightaway and one straightaway that's got a big kink in the middle of it, Matt. But the rest of it is technical, and it's going to be an art form for these drivers, where we've seen it at some tracks before, but drivers are not going to have the ability to set up a move on those corners and make like a lunge or dive that we have seen in some tracks at some corners. It's going to have to be two cars that are politely side by side while one driver gains an advantage over the others. We saw it a little bit in some of the S's at VIR, Matt, but what we also saw last week at VIR was a little bit of heartbreak in some of those S's.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's going to be super interesting to watch because really you got that long front straightaway, and I think that's going to be where we're going to see most of our passes tonight as qualifying currently underway right now. Our Muhammad Alif just setting the first times on the board right now with his teammate Cale Davidson, both from Ball State University right behind him, but the times are coming thick and fast now as we're going to get a lap on board here with Luis Diaz around this short 1.63 mile track down into turn one here. This left-handed sweeper corner is going to be a trouble point for our drivers tonight, Josh.
Yeah, that is, it's going to be a big point of contention for these drivers who are on board right there. You can see Luis Diaz, he probably enjoys this a little bit as he turns that Panther Esports Formula 4 car down into the corner. You got to know your points. This track has a lot of configurations and layouts, and big excitement right there during qualifying for Diaz in that Florida International car. But yeah, these tracks are very quick. You can see the elevation changes that make things very tricky right there. Look how that grass sneaks up on the left side. We're going to see that a lot. That's going to be a lot of off tracks tonight, Matt. But here you go. This was a straightaway, but it's got a kink in it. We turn to the right. We go back to the left. These drivers are going to put those cars as far to the right as they can and get a run up the hill right here. Keep the momentum up in these F4 cars, about 160 horsepower. You're going to need that motor wound up to get across the line there, as Luis Diaz does. And look at Diaz, man. He's putting that FIU car on the podium for qualifying.
Yeah, a great effort there from Diaz, as a couple other Florida International drivers also in the field tonight. Gavin Marzon, he's a CIL debutant tonight, currently in the 12th spot for Florida International, but plenty of time to set a quicker lap, as Robert Kiesel Jr. in the 7th spot, also out of Florida International. I think they're going to be one of the schools this season to watch in kind of the school championship fight, as we've seen a lot of pace out of the Ball State cars, as well as I think right now as they sit 1 and 2 at the top leaderboard, but Florida International sitting third and trying to chase something down. But Cale Davidson sees a gaggle of cars up in front of him coming into this last corner here. That's going to really hurt his lap time. And I think there's a little bit of contact there. I believe that was with one of the Penn College of Technology cars, or I think it was actually Michael Tognati in front of him there that held him up in the last corner.
Yeah, that would be San Mateo right there, who's trying to get those laps navigated. Again, you want to use all your momentum, but a little bit of contact maybe between those cars Right there, you can see he's actually going to try to get another flyer in. He's got a lot of toe, but Ball State typically has the pace, Matt, and so that 888 car could be a detriment coming up here. And you can't really say impeding qualifying. There's nothing to do on this short little twisty track. There you go. So the pass is done, and both of those flying laps are out the window now, so to speak. But while we were talking, Matt, Jordan Johnson and Kent State hopped up to the top.
Yeah, a great effort from that number 4 car of Jordan Johnson. We've seen him at the top of the leaderboards a lot of this season. I think maybe some of the race results haven't quite shown it as he comes through, turns 10 and 11 there. Just for reference tonight, that corner does have a name other than a number. It is the O'Brien Aluminum Dogleg. Turns 10 and 11 there, so pretty unique corner name there as Jordan Johnson navigates out of the last corner to start another flying lap here. But our Muhammad Alif has taken that top spot away from the Kent State University driver to put himself back up on that provisional pole position with still over half this qualifying session left, as Jordan Johnson comes up to the back of Andrew Burrell from Clemson University now, right under the Yokohama Bridge.
Yeah, so down here we go. No, and there goes the 888 wide again for Clemson University. But I was going to say that we've seen a lot of external factors in those second heat races, Matt. But what we have seen is the first heat race, the University of Kent machine and Ball State University usually find themselves up front, Johnson and Alif running together. And, I think that we'll see that again. Look at that car rotate down into the corner. Jordan Johnson is making use of all the track right now. Hopefully no use of the grass. That would invalidate that lap. But here you go. He knows he's second. Oh, big wiggle right there. I was going to say, here it comes across the line, but I don't know about that. The 4 car across the line, I don't think that's going to be a best lap. He was cooking it. I don't know what the time was, Matt, but I think it was all gone with that big wiggle there in the final corner.
Yeah, for sure. I think typically keeping the car in a straight line is gonna get you the fastest times, but it's always fun to drift it around, and it's not something you see too often with these higher downforce open wheel Formula 4 cars that we use here in the Formula C series. So I'm sure Jordan Johnson will let the tires cool off a little bit and get ready for another flying lap here. As right now, top alumni in the field at the moment, Thomas Toomey out of the University of Virginia, heading down under the Yokohama Bridge into turn 3 at the moment. Currently about 1.2 seconds back from our current pole position time, but it's a super tight track, and I see a lot of traffic impeding some of our faster drivers out there and where they can get their lap times to. So expect to see times come down a little bit more over the course of the session. Track's going to bring in a little bit as well, so that's going to affect times as well. So we'll see what can happen here, as I think this is the trickiest part of the track where Thomas Toomey is right now, though. This kind of middle sector, you have a couple of blind corners in here that can really put you off your game if you're not careful.
That's exactly what can happen, and as we build the case for our starting grid here during qualifying, we can take a look at a couple of the points and the schools that are going on. No surprise right here, Ball State University on top, but we have talked about FIU a lot, Matt, and they are only 30 points back, 27 actually, back of Ball State University, and North Carolina and Charlotte as well. Picking up that third spot in the point standings for those students. North Carolina and Charlotte doing really well. So that is Clint Halterman and company putting that car up there routinely. And so we have seen a couple, Matt, where University of Kent and Jordan Johnson got collected in some of that Heat 2 excitement. And that is definitely going to be something that that group has to claw their way out of.
Yeah, for sure. And as we were talking there, Wingate University's Jake Cummings jumped up to the 4th spot. A great lap from him right now. That'll put him about 6/10 behind our current provisional pole time, as we only have about 3 minutes to go in this session. But a short lap around here, you could probably get easily 2, maybe even 3 laps around here, depending on when you start your lap time. So there's still plenty to play for here as Jake Cummings comes to this fast left-hander towards the end of the track. As he heads up to turn 10 and 11, it's pretty much a flat-out chicane in these Formula 4 cars. Really, any car, it's flat out. So expect the lap times to continue to drop as Thomas Toomey has now jumped up into the 5th position, right behind Wingate University's Jake Cummings.
Yeah, there you go. Jake Cummings is working fast right now. He would really like the viewers to know that he's got more wins than Garrett Vitton and Schulenberger and Edward Sanchez combined. Very proud of that statistic right there. Taking a big run to the runoff. Oh, that'll be a lap canceled for Toomey right there in the University of Virginia. But yeah, that's going to be a car to watch this week, as it is every week that Wingate machine as we pick up now with St. Clair College.
Yeah, it looks like St. Clair College here on a bit of an outlap, trying to stay out of the way from some of these cars behind her. Athena Leclerc, the 61 machine from our neighbors up north in Canada. So trying to keep the tires under her and make sure they're not overheating, and really just trying to stay out of the way because qualifying here has been absolutely chaotic with all the cars on track right now. 27 cars have set a lap time for the race tonight, so for a track that's only 1.6 miles long, that's not exactly going to give you a whole lot of real estate out there when you're setting a qualifying time.
No, it isn't. It's going to be very tricky for a lot of these drivers. Just not a lot of real estate. And like VIR last week was not a very wide track, but it was a very long track, and so drivers would have an opportunity to get themselves sorted out longitudinally if they needed to. But yeah, these cars, again, 27 cars and counting as we get some across the line here. Probably about 30 cars on the track that are going to have, yeah, as you said, Matt, a little over a mile to get sorted out. So it's going to be tricky.
Yeah, we see Alex Hallinar here from Binghamton University in the 9th spot right now, the third alumni in the field as he comes through the middle sector right now. It's turns 7 and 8 here, coming through turn 9, the quick left-hander, right before this little chicane of 10 and 11. So a pretty decent lap, it looks like, from him. It looks like the car's under him pretty decently here. This is probably going to be his last lap time he can set before the end of the qualifying session as he comes out of the last corner now. Alex Hallinar, we'll see what he can do for Binghamton University. Crosses the line and does not improve as... he does improve, actually. A little bit of a delayed pop-up there on our timing tower, but moves up to the 6th spot right behind Thomas Toomey from the University of Virginia, so I'm sure he'll be happy with that qualifying effort there.
Yeah, and I do see on the monitor one car. Actually, probably it's wild that only one car at this point has been noted for impeding another's qualifying lap, and that is going to be the car 027. Lenore Ryan University is going to start Heat 1 in the pits by virtue of doing that. And yeah, that's it is more tricky here, Matt, but the necessity or the difficulty of the task does not control the necessity. You got to give drivers the ability to put down a qualifying lap.
For sure, as our qualifying session is now coming to an end here for the first heat of tonight's Australian Grand Prix for the Formula C Series. And it's going to be a familiar face on pole position tonight for the first race. It's R. Muhammad Ali from Ball State University with a provisional pole time of a 103.623. To his outside is Jordan Johnson from Kent State, only 6 thousandths behind. He's going to be chopping at the bit here to get into that first position off the start with Cale Davidson from Ball State University in the 3rd position. Jake Cummings in 4th for Wingate University, and Thomas Toomey 5th for the University of Virginia with Alex Hallinar. The Toomey's outside in 6th for Binghamton. Robert Kiesel Jr. leads the Florida International cars in 7th tonight with Athena Leclerc in 8th for St. Clair College. Louis Diaz from Florida International will start 9th, and then Ricky Paz from Valparaiso in the 10th position. Lucas Santos from the University of Minnesota will be 11th. Jason Satterley from Auburn University in the 12th spot in that 31 machine. In 13th is Alex Diamond from Drexel University, and 14th is Austin DeLong from the Penn College of Technology. 15th is Timothy Williams from Drexel University, and 16th is Zachary DeWale from St. Clair College. The 027 will be starting from the pit lane due to a impeding penalty. Mark Turek from Penn College of Technology in 17th, and Jason Walt, the second Drexel car, in 18th. Michael Tognati from the College of San Mateo will be 19th, and Esteban Munoz from Florida International 20th. Aiken Lamar, a newcomer to the CIL this season from Howard Community College, will be 21st, and Ryan Bannon from Penn College of Technology in 22nd. Andrew Burrell will be 23rd from Clemson, and Adrian Tubakovic from St. Clair College will start 24th here, Josh. We've got a good race lined up here as our drivers are on the grid now, getting ready to go for this race.
They are indeed, and there you can see the pole sitter, Ball State University, and R. Muhammad Ali. Those drivers are looking down to that long run, and they will have. There's going to be calamity early on here, but they do have a little bit of runway to get it sorted out. It's not like Laguna Seca where you're in the first one right away. So these drivers will have a little bit to go, and then that kink, and we will find out, Matt, who breaks first into that kink and who goes flat.
Yeah, as the lights are on here for our start, and the lights are out, and we are green here for race 1 at Oran Park Raceway. Jordan Johnson with a great start, trying to chase down R. Muhammad Ali, who started on the pole position down into turn 1. Alif covers off the inside quickly, and Jordan Johnson's going to look to the outside around here into the sweeper. Flat out on this first lap, down into turn 2. Late on the brakes, Wingate University's off the track and way into the dirt here on lap 1, but Jordan Johnson and R. Muhammad Alif are side by side for the lead. Going down into turn 3 now, R. Muhammad Alif with the inside line in contact as Jordan Johnson spins in front of the field. Chaos in turn 3 here, Josh. Absolute calamity.
Yeah, the drivers now sorting out, getting around, don't move the cars. And there you go. So it was on at the start there, and around goes FIU. I think that was Kiesel Jr., but not sure. Luis Diaz, the Panther Esports driver, he's going to have some more room to get that car turned around. And we don't love to see it, Matt, but we wondered if that would be the case there. A bit surprising there up at the front, but we know that the dirty air is going to be so negative here. Neither one of those drivers wanted that to happen. So the stewards hard at work. Ball State University is your leader, and we ride on board now with Binghamton University and Alex Hallinar. That driver is going to try to get around and going to have a good position opportunity here on 166. That was Thomas Toomey, so Virginia ducked into pit lane right there, Matt.
Yeah, it must have been some sort of damage potentially for Thomas Toomey that was really hampering the performance of their car. We saw them go a little bit wide in the last corner of the track there on lap 1. 20-lap race here tonight. Since the track is so short, these laps are going to tick off very quickly, but there's been chaos throughout the field right now. Closest battle on the track at the moment is between Louis Diaz and Gavin Marzon, 2 Florida International cars scrapping over that 12th spot right now, Josh.
Yeah, you love the sequential numbering from those two, 28, 29, and there you go. Oh, follow the leader off into the gravel right there. St. Clair College, that's the 38 machine of Adrian Tubakovic. He is back on and 3 wide into the final corner, and Luis Diaz loves to see that in his mirrors. And so there you have it, down through the corner. Those drivers are going to try and get sorted on, and yeah, we do see right here that Alex Diamond in the Drexel University car, that distinctive Drexel paint scheme, he's going to try now. Get a little bit of toe down the front stretch. Ooh, and in the slow grass. You can't run off in the grass anymore, Matt. I see some wing damage as well in front of that 28.
Yeah, we did see Louis Diaz have a spin it. Someone was off in the corner there. I can't tell who that is. I think it's the Wingate University car of Jake Cummings. He's down in 25th right now. He's a lap down, so it looked like he was missing a rear wing as well, so he might have some significant damage that will put him out of this race. But front of the pack right now, the fight for the top 5 is heating up right now as University of Minnesota's Lucas Santos is chasing down Auburn University's Jason Satterley at the moment. So lots of action throughout the field right now as drivers are out of position from this first lap chaos, as I think there's going to be a lot of shuffling throughout the pack now.
Yeah, the Minnesota Gopher is on the hunt, and he is trying to get that sorted out right here. But back up to the front, this is for the 9th position. So both these cars inside the top 10 being inverted up to the front. Ooh, that'll be an off track right there. But we have Alex Diamond. He's trying to get that 9th position. That'll be worth 1 championship point, and he's got a little advantage right now because there's going to be some drag on the front stretch, and that's the 2nd excursion into the grass for Diaz. But yeah, that wing at high speed is not going to help the 28 car.
Yeah, you can really see how much these guys are pushing right now, just how much they're going off the track. They're looking for every inch of asphalt out there around this narrow, short Oran Park Raceway as down the front stretch another time. Looks like Alex Diamond is not going to quite get there before turn 1. This fast left-hander, which is almost flat out in these Formula 4 cars. So you got to be super aggressive to maybe potentially make a move into turn 2 unless you're already side by side as they go under the Yokohama Bridge on lap 4 here. Diamond in the 049 looking to make up a spot here on Louis Diaz with a little bit of damage from a lap 1 spin. So we'll see how this one plays out. But elsewhere throughout the field, looks like Athena Leclerc might have been chasing down Alex Hallinar there, but the gap has grown since I started mentioning that fight. So we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, and I also see that Michael Tognati right now is moving up for the College of San Mateo. He is trying to make a play right there to push that car forward. Some of these drivers having to come in, put a new front wing on their race cars. But, yeah, back up at the front, let's talk about Jason Satterley and Auburn University, who have jumped up next. We're going to go to Athena Leclerc right here. This is Athena Leclerc in the 2nd position, getting by that Binghamton University machine. Athena Leclerc's putting another chapter in this season of success right here. But that 61 car getting by the mean green Binghamton car, and those two will run in tandem. Here you go. Jason Satterley made his debut for Auburn at VIR last week, and doing really well here at Oran Park. Not an easy place to pick up. It is technical. It can even be fun at sometimes, but this is not an easy track to pick up. But here he's doing it well. It looks like the 61 maybe letting. I don't know if there was a slowdown right there. It's very easy to get a slowdown on this track, Matt. But there you go. A little bit of a gaggle now right here.
Ooh.
Lucas Santos getting that Minnesota car back under control. Great job right there. Not an incident point to spare. And here they are. Now we're going to have a race down into the corner.
Yeah, it looks like there might have been contact there between Satterley and Santos in that middle sector. They were side by side. Not quite sure if there was contact, but Santos looking inside here into turn one. That's a tough spot to do it with that quick left-hander and riding over the curbs to get the pass done. A great job from the University of Minnesota's Lucas Santos. Moves up to the 4th spot. And just to go back to what happened between St. Clair's Athena Leclerc as well as and Binghamton's Alex Hallinar, I believe St. Clair College kind of went off the track in that middle sector, lost a ton of time over the grass, and as a result, lost a position. As we see on our timing tower right now, our Muhammad Alif is falling down the timing tower. I'm not quite sure if that's a scoring error, or as it looks like Hallinar goes off the track now. For Binghamton University, that's going to give Athena Leclerc the chance to fight back here.
Yeah, and I do not see our Muhammad Alif, that leading Ball State car, on my other monitor. So could be a disconnect, or maybe we'll wait for that car to reappear, as iRacing has gifted us with another update today. Makes things exciting, but not as exciting as we go back. So Lucas Santos continuing his run down in the quarter, but Athena Leclerc has got that Formula 4 car hooked up, looking at Binghamton back down in the corner. She made the pass once, Matt. We're going to see here if she can make it again. A little bit of a shallower line, getting that car turned around, maybe a bit defensive there for Minnesota as those cars all back up into the corner. And if anything goes on, it's going to be an opportunity for Auburn right here. Satterley is going to pounce.
Yeah, for sure. This is a super intense fight that's heated up for this top spot due to what might be technical difficulties for Ball State University's R. Muhammad Alif. We'll have to see if we can get any more information on that in the coming laps. But at the start of this race, the top 5 looked like a pretty standard running order. We had Alif, Jordan Johnson, Cale Davidson, cars we all expect to see at the front of the pack. But as this race has developed, we have plenty of new faces at the front of the pack, some of which are probably chasing their first CIL win at the moment in this first heat of the night, but there's still over half the race to go. We're going to start lap 8 here as they cross the line now. There's going to be another 13 laps to go as they cross the stripe, so plenty of time for the action to heat up tonight as Lucas Santos is looking to make a move on Athena Leclerc into turn 1.
Yeah, down in the corner, it's going to be position to Leclerc right there as Minnesota. Oh, and a lockup right there. Both those drivers, I think it was the 61 started to over-rotate that car, caught it, but the gopher right there on your screen, Minnesota and Lucas Santos, he gave a little bit more room than he needed to, but yeah, gave the room. All these cars continue on, and you love to see it, Matt. These drivers reacting quite well. That's the second save from Santos, so he's got that car on the limit. And he is zooming.
Yeah, these drivers pushing flat out, making sure they get every inch of speed out of these cars. Every inch of track is used. You know, they might not have paid for it. Because Lucas Santos goes off the track and uses some of the grass there in turn 9. But, you know, if every track is going to have its quirks like this where grass might be on the edge of the track. You don't see it very often on some of the European tracks, some of the FIA Grade 1 tracks, and Oran Park is certainly more of a blast from the past. It's more of an old school track, very narrow compared to some of the other tracks. Grass right off the edge of the track instead of asphalt for the runoff. So it's a challenge for these drivers, and it's not something they drive very often. And so it provides a unique experience here in these FIA Formula 4 cars, Josh.
Yeah, and that is totally correct. It's unique. Another thing that's unique tonight is our two fast leaders, both Pole Sitter and P2, have gone out. So right now, the battle for the lead is Binghamton, St. Clair College, and Minnesota, and Auburn in that group of 4 right there. They are racing the game, but not unlike the Singapore race, where Formula 1 mixed up their finishing order. Looks like we might do the same here in this first heat.
Yeah, at the start of this lap, we saw Lucas Santos right on the back of Athena Leclerc from St. Clair College. Now he has fallen off significantly here. The gap between St. Clair and University of Minnesota now at about a second. That's putting the Lucas Santos under immense pressure here from Jason Satterley out of Auburn University, looking to move up into the podium spot here. Only about 4/10 behind down the front stretch. Obviously, you're gonna have to be a lot closer to make an overtake into turn 1 and 2 here on Oran Park, but a driver we saw pit earlier, Thomas Toomey from the University of Virginia, has a big lock up there from Jason Satterley. That's going to cost him a little bit of time and almost got into the back of Lucas Santos there. But Thomas Toomey, we saw him pit after lap 1, maybe a little bit of front wing damage. He's starting to climb himself back up the field, still in the lead lap. Not quite a lap down yet for that Cavalier machine in 14th right now, but he might be looking to get to that reverse grid pole in the 10th position here by the end of this race.
Yeah, that would not be a bad strategy for some of these drivers. Look at that, some movement right there. St. Clair College, Zach DeWale is coming out of that 10th position right there. Michael Tognati sneaks into it. But loving this battle right now. Alex Diamond, we know he's quick on road, is trying to look out back of Austin DeLong. And these two drivers, Drexel and Penn College of Technology, are going to try and get these cars both across the line first. These drivers competing for a handful of championship points there in that 7th and 8th position. And back up around front, carrying the momentum. Love seeing those cars track out to the wall. That wall tastefully given some runoff area, Matt. But down into the corner, I don't know. There's a little bit of draft here, but I don't know that that's going to be enough. That would be quite the lunge from Diamond if he was back there. And Drexel will have to wait another lap, maybe even wait for a misstep, because that Penn College car looks pretty good right now.
Yeah, for sure. And one thing that I think our leaders might have to start watching out for here in the next couple laps is lap traffic. This track, only about a 63-second lap or so around here. And right now, the last car in the lead lap, Adrian Tubakovic from St. Clair College, is about 59 seconds behind our leader at the moment. So maybe in 3 or 4 laps or so, these leaders are going to have to fight through some lap traffic, as Tubakovic's St. Clair College teammate Athena Leclerc is about 0.6 of a second behind the leader right now. So there might be some team orders at play here potentially, maybe trying to use the lap car as a pick here in the next couple laps or so.
Yeah, the opportunity's coming up, but look at this battle right here. Penn College does wash out a little bit wide, had to get out of the gas, I think, and that's going to give the position off the final corner to Drexel. It is fun also to see the front battle, but here we go, down to the corner. This gap is going to close massively under braking, past the kink, and there you go. And there is that blue car right on the heels again of Drexel University. So Pennsylvania College of Technology is going to do the most here, try and get sorted out, but now we're back up to the leader.
Yeah, this gap at the front is closed from about a second to about half a second now between Binghamton and St. Clair. But St. Clair's also got to worry about the charging car of Lucas Santos behind her right now, as Athena Leclerc pulled a bit of a gap to the Minnesota machine. But in the last couple laps, that gap has dropped back down to within about half a second or so. So the fight for the lead is a three-way fight right now between Binghamton's Alex Hallinar, St. Clair's Athena Leclerc, and University of Minnesota's Lucas Santos right now coming out of the last corner to finish the 12th lap to start 13. It's going to be interesting here in the next couple laps, Josh, is how aggressive do you get? Are you going to gun for a win? Are you going to be happy with the podium? That's going to be something these drivers are going to have to grapple with the next couple laps. So we'll see what happens here, as a pretty good corner there from Lucas Santos getting right up behind St. Clair College's Athena Leclerc, the gap 0.3.
Yeah, and you can see just how tight this complex is. And here you go. That is not what you want to see out of your mirror. The University of Minnesota hunting right now, trying to get any sort of gap. And I feel like it's going to have to be as we get into the third sector and back onto that final straightaway. Oh, off. Off is, I believe that's Austin DeLong, Penn College of Technology. That's not what you need right there. But I was going to say, I'm sorry, he is not falling down the order, so that is not Austin DeLong. But here we go, back up at the front. I feel like this pass is going to have to come from Minnesota. Going into this corner right here, it's going to have to be a really good exit from Minnesota. He's got the run, he's inside, but he's cut that a little bit short. I don't know if that's what he needs, but it's a drag race, Matt, down into the first corner. And who can be braver on the brakes? That's not a lunge, that's a race.
Yeah, we've seen Lucas Santos really love this inside line going down into turn 1, and he's made a couple overtakes down on the inside here, and it looks like he's going to have the inside line as there's a spun car on the outside of the corner there. That's the St. Clair College car. That's affecting their teammate, Athena Leclerc, who's trying to fight for the podium position. Not quite sure who that was. I think it was Adrian Tubakovic, it looks like. We said he was a couple laps from getting lapped, and now he has been lapped. That spin affecting his teammate of Athena Leclerc as they fought for that second position down in turn 2.
Yeah, confirmed that was Tubakovic, and probably not how he would have done that. I think the 61 of Leclerc here would have liked to remain keeping that car on the outside of the 5, would have set up well for the next corner, which was a right-hander. But yeah, with nothing doing, there was a car right there, Matt. So back down the front stretch we go, and has picked up now. And Binghamton had been running away just a little bit. But I'll tell you what, the Gophers are getting hot at the right time. It's going to be 6 to go when we cross the line this time.
Yeah, Lucas Santos has done a great job this race. He is up 9 spots since the start of this race. He's done a great job so far. As it looks like a big lock up there from Alex Hallinar. That's going to give Lucas Santos the opportunity to make a look down the inside, but nothing there so far. Not quite close enough to capitalize on the mistake from Hallinar, but it's Hallinar getting worried. He's going to see that yellow and red Gopher machine popping up in his mirrors, getting bigger and bigger every lap. The gap, 0.5 of a second right now, but Athena Leclerc from St. Clair is still in this fight as well as Lucas Santos slides through the corner there, trying to get up to the bridge.
Yeah, those elevation changes that we have been talking about, where that car, as we rode on board, just got up in Minnesota, up and over the curb, and then that front suspension loaded up, just turned the car. But Lucas, that's his 15th trip around this circuit today, and he's got it sorted out. No surprises at this point. So these drivers are going to try and get sorted out. And I do see that Lucas is taking just a shallower line, shallower entry, shallower in the middle overall through that first corner. So I don't know if that's different or if that's keeping him back a little bit from some of these other drivers. Sometimes there's a couple lines into these corners, and so it's exciting to see these drivers get sorted out. Look at these cars jumping and bouncing down into that first turn.
Yeah, Lucas Santos is probably his best corner on this track has looked to be turns 1 and 2. Super brave in the high speed there on that left-hander. Got to get that car set up quickly for turn 2 through the heavy braking zone. And Lucas Santos is now falling back a little bit in turns 3 and 4 here from the Binghamton car of Alex Hallinar. But laps are ticking down here. Less than 5 laps to go now as the gap is less than a second between the top 3 from first to third. So there's all to play for still here as they come through this middle sector. We've seen drivers struggle there today, keeping it on the track. Because once you touch the dirt, you lose so much traction and you just slow down immensely. But our drivers here do a great job of keeping it on the black stuff so far as they come around and complete another circuit of this Oran Park. It looks like a little bit wide there from Alex Hallinar. That might give Lucas Santos the opportunity to pounce down this front straightaway.
Yeah, that will, but these cars look pretty even right now, and I don't think the toe is going to be enough to get Santos where he needs to be for the move, so maybe a lucky break there for Binghamton. But we've seen a lot of times that Binghamton will lock up into this corner, in fact, a little bit defensive into that line, and you can tell that Hallinar is thinking about that Gopher behind him.
Yeah, I almost thought that Lucas Santos, if he got a little bit more aggressive there in turn 2, could have made the pass, but it looked like he lifted pretty early in turn 1. That kind of cost him in turn 2, but now he kind of touched a little bit of the grass there on the exit of turn 3. That's going to cost him some time to Hallinar and put him under a little bit more pressure from the St. Clair car behind right now. And these three, we saw the fight for the lead be a top 4 fight early on with Binghamton, Minnesota, St. Clair, and Auburn. But Auburn University has just dropped off the back of this fight now as it's a 3-car fight for the win at the moment as we're on lap 17 of 20 here. And the gaps have started to spread out a bit between these top 3.
Yeah, they totally have. And a couple car lengths now separate each of these drivers. Alex Hallinar, this is what he sees in his mirror. He's trying to get away from Santos and Minnesota, St. Clair College, and Athena Leclerc not far behind. Those drivers are barreling down into turn 1, but coming across the line right now, FIU continues to defend from Valparaiso University, and I think that's Ricky Paz in that 19 car right there. Ethan Decatur also entered in this event from Valparaiso University, but those drivers, and yeah, that's Ricky Paz trying to get around Luis Diaz, will be a fun competition for the 5th position. Top 5, always a nice feather in the cap.
Yeah, for sure. Looking at the fight between Diaz and Satterley right now for the top 5. Closest battle on the track as the gaps between the top 3 have spread out a little bit. About 3/10 the gap between Auburn and Florida International right now. Luis Diaz, we saw he has a little bit of damage in that front wing right now, but that doesn't seem to be affecting him too much at the moment. Maybe a little bit on the straightaways, but it looks like Athena Leclerc has had a moment as she has dropped off the back of the top 2 now. Not quite sure what happened. Looks like off the track in turn 10 potentially. As the gap at the front has closed immensely now. It's within 2 seconds or 2/10.
The leader is under fire now. It's on. To the outside is Minnesota, and there's a move. Who can be on the brakes right here? Still around the outside, has position. They get those F4 cars turned, staying on the track, and that's what we wanted to see. The Minnesota car has position, but what is the move here? The 57 can keep his momentum. The 057, Halinar, can keep his momentum around his corner. He's done so. Can he close the door? No, he cannot, and this is what we said side by side for long portions of the lap, and the lead is defended by Alex Halinar, Binghamton University, and Lucas Santos, Matt, he's going to have to do that one more time. He's only got one more chance. These drivers come to the white flag right now.
Yeah, it looked like in turn 4, Lucas Santos just got a little bit loose on the inside of turn 4 there. That cost him a ton of time, but just look how close that car is to the rear wing of Alex Halinar down the front stretch for one final time, but Halinar gets a good exit. Can Lucas Santos for the University of Minnesota use that draft to his advantage and get right back to that rear wing of Binghamton? One lap to go here, Josh, down into turn 1.
Yeah, he's about a tenth further back than he was last time, so it would be a small crime from that far back. But here he goes. He's going to make that turn very wide, and he's going to do his best right here. But Binghamton University, wise to most of the tricks, and one more time through these set of corners in this Heat 1. A lockup right there from Binghamton, but doesn't matter. That's once your car's kind of parked there, there's not much for it. Looks like that fourth place position is taken over in the final lap by Luis Diaz. But, Matt, come to the line. It is all green right now. Binghamton University and Alex Halinar, they have got that lead captured right now just through the kink. There they go. And into the final corner up the hill. Excuse me, now we approach the kink as these drivers try and get sorted out. It actually has opened up that gap to about 6/10. So a very good second half of this lap from Alex Halinar, and there you have it across the line. It's going to be Heat 1. It's green. The 057 and Alex Halinar, Binghamton University, bring home the checkered flag, and it was a race of excitement. There you have it. Jason Satterley does bring that Auburn Tiger car home in the 5th position. Excellent run for that group and for that driver, and all these guys and girls getting all set up now to come to the conclusion of this one. There's the College of San Mateo. This could be your pole sitter. That's the 10th position right there, is Michael Tognati, formerly of the Clemson camp, entered the transfer portal, and now arrives here, and he is in no hurry to capture that 9th place position. Andrew Burrell going to come and high-five the infield. So does Michael Tognati. And the College of San Mateo will be on pole, Matt, when we go racing in about 6 minutes' time.
Yeah, Burrell, they're a couple laps down, so not really fighting for any spots here at the end. But a great job from our race winner tonight, our race 1 winner, Alex Halinar. Still a second race to go here, but a super tight fight up at the front of the field, and Alex Halinar doing a great job there on the penultimate lap to defend from the charging Lucas Santos. Did a great job of fighting around the outside of turns 3 and 4. Super tough to do with 2 right-hand corners, but Halinar just had the grip on the outside and did a fantastic job there. It's a clinic in defensive driving from that Binghamton University machine.
Yeah, that was brilliant from those guys, and we'll have to see what they do here in this upcoming race. Those drivers will start 9th and 10th up at the front, and it'll be a little bit tricky to see who gets sorted. And by the way, Matt, let's not forget that we would expect both Jordan Johnson and Jordan Johnson and R. Muhammad Alif to make their way forward from wherever they start. They're back in probably the 20th position or so. So Heat 2 will be just as exciting, I suspect.
Yeah, for sure, as these cars have a little bit of a cool-down / warm-up period between races, and super interesting second race coming up. Obviously, we'll have our top 10 reverse, but a lot of drivers we expect to see in the top 10 involved in accidents or involved in incidents on that lap 1 chaos. We had contact at the front of the field, and I think a lot of drivers just could not avoid it. And as a result, you have drivers such as, Cale Davidson starting in the back of the pack due to damage they sustained from a wreck in lap 1, race 1. Drivers like Jordan Johnson, we saw contact he was involved with. Zachary DeWale starts further back in the pack. He's been quick here. I think he ended up coming back out of the pits and finished in the top 15, I believe, or so. But a lot of fast guys and out of position here in race 2, so expect to see them charge through the field here if they don't get caught up in another crazy lap 1 incident like we saw in race 1.
Yeah, that will be the trick. But have a moment to talk to race 1 winner from Binghamton University. That's Alex Hallinar. Alex, walk us through that race. Boy, that was exciting. For probably 15 of the 20 of those laps, that was a lot of defense from you.
Absolutely. I channeled my inner Ryan Newman there. You know, this track is pretty crazy. Lots of undulations. It takes a lot of concentration. And I just was consistent, was able to keep in front, and that made the difference. You know, I'm not necessarily the fastest guy out here in this league, but I'm able to string laps together and, you know, keep guys behind me.
Yeah, Alex, great race, great defensive driving there, especially in that penultimate lap. We saw maybe you were a bit conservative into turn 1 compared to some of the other cars you were fighting with. Were you just confident in your ability to kind of hang it around the outside of some of those corners? Because you had some immense speed defending around the outside there, which is something we don't see very often.
I don't necessarily remember being on the outside of like turn 1 or 2. I know very late in the race with Lucas, I put it on the outside. And I mean, you know, in the end, this is a sim. It's not like I have to fix the car afterwards. This isn't, you know, like my legend car. I can afford to have an incident. In the end, you know, we kept it clean, and you know, and then I'm getting the win.
Well, it was a well-earned win. We had fun watching it. Yeah, wasn't sure what was going to happen when you guys were side by side, but the outcome was awesome. So, congrats to Binghamton as well, and best of luck here as you start from 10th position in second heat.
Thank you. I'll try to put a show on.
Yeah, and I'm fairly certain that he will indeed put a show on, Matt. He's got the talent. You heard him say he knows. He's got the humility, but he's got the pace behind the wheel, and he's consistent. And I loved it, Matt. You heard him say that, he doesn't have to put this car back together, so he took a little bit of extra risk right there, but it paid off. I think I would have done the same thing.
Yeah, around a track this short and this chaotic, sometimes you got to balance that risk reward. I think Hallinar from Binghamton University there did a fantastic job in the first race. He was up a couple spots, I believe 7 or 8 spots in the start of the race. Did a great job in avoiding the chaos in the first lap, and a little unfortunate that our Muhammad Alif, who was leading the race and was able to avoid most of that lap 1 chaos, a technical difficulty put him out of that race there, benefited Alex Hallinar the most by pretty much allowing him to kind of control the pace and control the lead from there. As a great job from Hallinar. We'll see what he can do here in race 2 starting from the 10th spot.
Yeah, that'll be exciting for these drivers to see what's going on here in the second race. And we'll have to kind of keep an eye on our tower as well, with Jordan Johnson and Ara Leaf trying to get forward in the grid. Looks like they were going to both start back indeed around that 20th position mark. So warm up completed. The drivers taking the grid now. And Matt, take us away.
Yep, and starting on pole for your second race tonight, due to the reverse grid of the top 10, it's going to be Michael Tognati from the College of San Mateo, and to his outside, it's Mark Turek from the Penn College of Technology, with his Penn College of Technology teammate Austin DeLong in the 3rd spot. Alexander Diamond from Drexel will start 4th, and Ricky Paz in 5th for Valparaiso University, and Jason Satterley will be in the 6th spot for Auburn. Louis Diaz from Florida International will start 7th. Athena Leclerc finished on the podium in race 1, will start 8th in race 2. Lucas Santos 9th for University of Minnesota, and Alex Hallinar, our race 1 winner, will start in 10th for the second race. Zachary DeWale and Thomas Toomey in the 11th and 12th spot to round out your top 12, Josh. They were involved in some incidents earlier on, were able to fight back through the field to salvage something out of that first race. Not quite in the points, but close enough to fight in the points now for the second race.
And the lights are on, and the lights are out, and away we go. A really good start from Pennsylvania College of Technology. Both of those cars, plenty of blue, but those two drivers, Austin DeLong and Michael Tognati, they've got the opportunity and the advantage down in the corner. And a bit wide there from Michael Tognati. And there he goes. Some smoke behind. We see, I think that's Valparaiso. Going to have to get that car turned around right there. But the University of Virginia. That
Jordan Johnson involved.
Jordan Johnson around in the back. And a lockup. Big lockup. That's FIU. That's Luis Diaz on 2 wheels right there. Courtesy of one of those.
Caution's out.
Wasn't able to keep track. But there you have it. And a backup at the front. Oh, and the stewards have thrown the yellow flag. Interestingly, Matt, I did not know that was, as big as the first lap, but I know that there's more on my second monitor. So we will maintain our excitement here. These drivers are going to get sorted back up, and we will see what the stewards have to say about that.
Yeah, I think it might have been something further back in the pack we just couldn't see with our cameras. Chaos in the first lap. Lap 1 and turn 2 there after that quick left-hander. We saw a big stack up. I think we saw a couple of our front runners maybe go off the track. There's not enough room there. But I think we're going to get a replay of this start here as we'll have a couple of laps under the caution, behind the pace car, and we'll get a chance here to replay the start.
Yeah, this is the race start as it was, and Austin DeLong was right there alongside. We do see the inverted field, so there you see Binghamton University. We also see Drexel University there on the left side of your screen. Keep an eye on that yellow 19 car. That was one of the cars that was pointed the wrong way at some point in this, but this start looked such a good start from both those Penn College of Technology cars. There they go, avoiding the contact and not actually pushed off right there. It looks like Drexel was able to lock up a little bit into one of the cars on the outside right there. But once you get turned around like that, very tricky to get the car unlocked. And right there you have Alex Hallinar. The wheel-to-wheel contact, that'll get you. And that was a tough lunge, but I don't know if that was actually intentional or just late on the brakes trying to get back. There's a lot of sensory stuff going on here. So inputs to the driver, a little bit late on the brakes, and that's something here. And this is Jordan Johnson that we're following along down into the corner. Looks like behind Clemson and behind the Penn College of Technology Wildcats as well. Trying to get that car turned, stop back to the left. And it's a parking lot already by the time he arrives on the scene right here. We wondered if this would be the case. It looks like a loose and an overcorrection there from the Penn College car, and I don't know who that was. Maybe Ryan Bannon. Right there, but we'll have to see. But looks like Jordan Johnson that car does run, but it doesn't look like it did when it came from Delara.
Yeah, it looks like Ricky Pass here also out of this race. It looks like wheel damage. I don't think they're going to be able to fix that in time under this caution, Josh. It's pretty difficult to drive on 3 wheels around here. Well, pretty difficult to drive on 4, much less 3, as the pace car lights are out, as we'll get back to green flag racing after this lap under the pace car. As the 2 Pennsylvania College of Technology cars in the lead right now. Mark Turek up at the front, and then his teammate Austin DeLong right behind him to start us off after this yellow flag stint here.
Yeah, and that's tough. Jordan Johnson. In fact, I did just see that Jordan Johnson took that University of Kent car behind the wall, so that'll be 2 races in the garage tonight. Very unfortunate for that driver. Muhammad Alif, see him jumping up the scoring. Scored 9th at this point in time, and this will be the second event that Muhammad Alif has carried on there, while Jordan has not. So that will be one to note for those keeping tracks of points. And back up here, we see that, it looks just kind of similar again, Matt. It's Auburn University, it's St. Clair College, and the University of Minnesota.
Yeah, we see the cars of Zachary DeWale and Thomas Toomey from St. Clair and the University of Virginia were able to navigate through that lap 1 chaos. They started in the 11th and 12th spot, respectively. So, good start from them to keep it clean, and they're able to continue on after having incidents in that first race. But in front of the field, it's Mark Turek right now. He's going to be leading the field of green here as the pace car is about ready to pull off from these pits, as we're going to have a chance to get back to some green flag racing here. Laps or races around here are based off lap count, not necessarily time, so this isn't going to affect how many corners these drivers have to overtake, as we'll start lap 4 when they cross the line this time.
Yeah, that's what we'll get to do here, coming to the green flag. So not too long under the yellow flag, but enough time to get drivers kind of calm down. Everybody excited there for the start. Backing up the field just a little bit is the leading Pennsylvania College of Technology car. And off to the races they go. The back of the field, a little bit of a gaggle right here. But yeah, the green flag underway, and there you have it. Auburn instantly looking to the inside. That's a good opportunity. Jason Satterley breaks early for the kink, and yeah, everybody plays nicely right there down into the corner, and it is 2 Wildcats showing the way in that.
Yeah, right now, pretty clean restart for everybody. Single filed out, so it shouldn't be too bad. As it looks like there's a move further back in the pack. It looks like that's R. Muhammad Alif and Thomas Toomey going side by side through turns 3 and 4 as R. Muhammad Alif jumps himself up into the 8th spot. He had pace in the first race. Technical difficulties brought him out of that race as Athena Leclerc looks to take that 2nd spot from Austin DeLong right now through this middle sector of the track. It looks like somebody's a little bit wide there. That's the Auburn University car of Jason Satterley losing spots at the moment, and that's going to give Zachary DeWale the 6th spot, as well as Alex Hallner the 5th spot as another car off the track there as well, I think.
Yeah, a couple of these cars sideways right now. That was Penn College Technology. Austin DeLong is around, so loose. Maybe he saw his teammate right there up ahead who was loose, and then fully around. And that is 02 Panther Esports cars nosed into the wall right there. So a couple things going on. And yeah, Matt, down the front stretch we go. We are checking right now with, I think that's the remaining Panther Esports car. Robert Kiesel Jr. right there, locking up into the first corner, but he gets that car turned around, and I think that's just the way the weight transfers. A lot of lockups into that corner, Matt, that doesn't seem to be affecting the outcome.
Yeah, the 2 Panther Esport drivers from Florida International there were Louis Diaz and Gavin Marzan, both into each other there in the last corner. That's not going to be a good post-race debrief for those FIU drivers in Panther Esports, as we're looking at Lucas Santos right now up into the 3rd spot at the moment. That's where he finished 2nd in race 1, but he's way off the track here. It looks like Zachary DeWale also way off the track there in that green car with the orange wheels, that 027 from St. Clair College. They both get it back on track pretty quickly there, but behind them they got R. Muhammad Alif, who looks to get back up to the front after technical problems in race 1 derailed his race then.
Yeah, here he comes, a move to the inside. That is Zach DeWale, who's going to have to play defense without the advantage right there. Ball State University breaks into the top 5 with that move, and will set their sights on the Gophers and then Binghamton University. Those 2 schools will be holding the 3rd and 4th positions, and a real chance to get on the podium. A real chance, I think a lot of time left to win this one, R. Muhammad Alif, which he would like for his points after the outcome in the first race. But nothing right now in 5th position, but 4th position is going to be the Minnesota Gopher car. Lucas Santos continues. Boy, there's no break, is there? Lucas Santos has spent all night tonight trying to chase that Alex Hallinar car.
Yeah, I'm sure Lucas Santos is not going to want to apply to the University or Binghamton University anytime soon, given how much of it he's seen tonight. But Hallinar a little bit loose there coming out of the corner. Nothing much to it, though, as they come through the final corner now. As they're about to go side by side for the lead here, potentially, we saw Athena Leclerc kind of stick a nose to the inside of the Penn College of Technology car as they head down into turn 1. Can Leclerc get the move done, or are they going to go side by side here? And it looks like they're going to do it in turn 1, the fast left-hander. Who's going to lift first? Athena Leclerc with a great move. It locks up the brakes a little bit into turn 2, and that's going to give Mark Turek and Penn College of Technology the opportunity to fight one back. It looks like Lucas Santos also got past Alex Hallinar, as Athena Leclerc is going to try to stick one up the inside here again. I don't know if there was room there, but Mark Turek certainly made room for her as they continue to scrap at the front, and R. Muhammad Alif is now less than a second off the lead.
Yeah, all fair play, even if strong defense there from both of those drivers up front, and the 61 will have to continue her pursuit of the race lead for St. Clair College. Looking back, we do see the St. Clair College, where Lucas Santos is, in fact, is by Binghamton University and Alex Hallinar. So I missed a little bit earlier what happened, but it looks like Ball State and R. Muhammad Alif have also advanced their position in that regard. But back up at the front, Athena Leclerc now under fire, and Minnesota has figured it out here in the middle part of this one. Here you go. This is Minnesota trying to look to the inside of St. Clair College. Who can be later on the brakes? A lot of these drivers trying to get sorted out. Yeah, not as much leeway given from Minnesota, and there you have it. And contact, but yeah, strong Strong on the pass right there. Strong on the defense. Lucas Santos has turned it on here in the second heat, and there will be no quarter given from that driver, Matt.
Yeah, it's not often that we see people block Art Muhammad Leaf and Ball State to the bottom of the track like that, but Lucas Santos obviously did not think anything of it, as it looks like Athena Leclerc has dropped down, looks like Mark Turk has dropped down a couple spots. He went off the track there in turn 4 as we were riding on board with another driver there. That's going to gift Lucas Santos and the University of Minnesota that top spot in the second race tonight, but there's plenty of action behind, and I think there are plenty of drivers who think they have a chance to get past Lucas Santos if they can just get to his rear wing right now. The first of which in line is going to be Athena Leclerc. She's second at the moment. She's going to try to draft up right behind Lucas Santos down here into turn 1, but our Muhammad Leaf has had a great exit out of the corner, and he's going to try to make a move for the second spot over Leclerc.
Yeah, that's pretty well sorted. I don't know how much defense there is in that St. Clair car. There it is. So staying safe for one more corner. That 12 car. Now it gets more technical. It's trickier to pass right here. Big defense from Athena. Looking to the inside. Can they sell a dummy? There's a Leaf, and you can see what he's trying to do. He's trying to get that leading car. Oh, and around is Binghamton. So everybody having their own unique struggles here in this one, Matt. It looks like, there's the University of Virginia right there is off. I was going to say that, yeah, Ar Muhammad Alif and Ball State University using a little bit of mind tricks. Oh, there it goes. It was the 12 car. So I don't know if that was just the curving right there. Maybe we can catch a replay if we have a moment to breathe. But, well, there you have it. So in a span of half a lap, Matt, the running order is totally rearranged, and the University of Minnesota is trying as fast as they can to get away from that Ball State car.
Yeah, the gap about 2.2 seconds right now as we are 10 laps into a 20-lap race here from Oran Park Raceway here in Sydney, Australia. The 05 car, clean air in front, no worries behind at the moment, but obviously Ar Muhammad Alif, plenty of pace in that car. As speaking of Ar Muhammad Alif and Ball State, Ar Muhammad Alif's teammate Cale Davidson has been fighting through this field as well, currently up in the 6th spot, trying to fight Robert Kiesel Jr. and Panther Esports for a top 5 position here as Kiesel looks to make a move past Penn College of Technology's Mark Turek as well, who spun from the lead just about a lap ago, as it's been chaos up and down the field.
Yeah, that's totally correct. And, man, it totally looks like, Matt, that there is a big disparity if these drivers were to have time alone on the track to hot lap or qualify, right? We would see the timing tower in a totally different order than it is now, but the stakes and the difficulty with which it takes to pass here has totally manipulated that. So there you have it. But, yeah, riding on board, it's a three-way tug-of-war right now. You can see out your windscreen Robert Kiesel Jr., the Florida Panther, Florida International University Panther right there, and finally Penn College of Technology leading that group. There you have it. Down into the corner, looking to sell the dummy, but I don't know if it's on. Yeah, that would be a ways back. But there you go. There on the brakes. It is in lockup, but can he rotate the car? He's done it, and Kiesel Jr. puts that Panther race car up front of this group. That'll be the 4th position, and we'll see if that clean air can assist that driver in getting away. Speaking of that, Matt, somebody who is not getting away is your race leader. That gap has come down to about half of what it was since we checked about a lap ago, so that'll be entertaining when those cars get to the start-finish line. But you can see these cars, the weight transfer, so loaded up on some of these corners, the way the elevation change works with the flow of this racetrack. Crossed over, there's Cale Davidson. He's going to try and get onto this straightaway right here. Is it on, though, side by side through the kink? He can hope to maintain the inside position into this corner. He's done it, and the position is acquired. So that is a new running order. Panther Esports in 4th position, in 5th place, Ball State University, followed by Penn College of Technology. That race is on. But Ball State University, Matt, they're staying in the headlines. They want that race lead.
Yeah, looks like Art Muhammad Alif here has done a great job of chasing down Lucas Santos from 2 seconds back, within about 2 laps now at about half a second, and just going back that overtake from Robert Kiesel Jr. earlier. Looks like Kiesel Jr., speaking of him now, is dropped a couple positions now, so maybe it was a mistake from him, potentially, as looks like potentially something's happening to Zachary DeWale as well, as Cale Davidson has closed up very quick out of nowhere. But yeah, Robert Kiesel Jr. had a fantastic overtake there into turn 2. super late on the brakes with a little bit of a lockup. But the fight right now looks like that's that's Cale Davidson and Zachary DeWale maybe had a little bit of contact there. We saw both cars off in that middle sector around turn 8. We'll have to go back and get a replay of that as we see Cale Davidson now has dropped down the order after fighting their way all the way up to the 4th spot.
Yeah, and down into the first turn, the fight is growing for these drivers. And you can see that Muhammad Alif not really pushing that issue right now. He's got a lot of time to try and work some magic here. But how much time does he want to take? He's going to try and sell the dummy. Nothing doing. And Ball State University continues to stalk the Gophers here. So I don't know what you do, Matt, if you have a Cardinal and a Gopher, who comes out on top.
Yeah, that sounds like the start of a bad joke, Josh, but what isn't a joke is what's in the rearview mirror of Lucas Santos right now. I think if I'm Lucas Santos, I know that it's very difficult to overtake pretty much anywhere except turns 1 and 2 on this track. And I think you just got to hit your marks, get the good exits out of these corners in the middle sector of the track as our timing tower lights up with activity right now. Mark Turek has climbed back to the 3rd spot after getting passed for a 6 or something. I'm not quite sure what's happening there. But yeah, if I'm Lucas Santos, I need a great exit out of this last corner every single lap because I know if I can defend that middle sector, then I can hold on to this lead for this race. But that gap is closing quickly, Josh.
Yeah, and he's still playing around right there. Muhammad Alif trying to get into the corner. I do see on the timing tower that Jake Cummings, who had a pretty tough Heat 1, has now kind of jumped into Heat 2. And, a bit of a spooky move. I think that the Minnesota car could have probably closed the door right there, but was a little bit nice. And, yeah, you can't be that nice with that driver from Ball State, Muhammad Alif. He's got the talent to get around right now, and he's got the advantage. He's on the inside. And that could be the last time that this race lead changes hands, Matt. But fair play from all drivers in a race where we've seen a lot of car contact. So very much enjoying the battle that this has been and continues to be right here. Lucas Santos not giving up. He's going to try and stay in the tow. He makes that S as straight as he can.
Yeah, that might have just been a business decision from Lucas Santos there. He's having a fantastic night tonight. He finished 2nd in race 1. He's got an 11-second gap to 3rd place Mark Turek from Penn College of Technology right now. So that might just be something to solidify some points for that Gopher machine right now. But that gap is only 0.3 of a second, so I could see Lucas Santos fighting back towards the end of this race, but Jake Cummings right now, you mentioned his name earlier. He's trying to make a move here for the 3rd position on Mark Turek into turn 1, and that looks like that move's going to be done pretty easily there from the Wingate car.
Yeah, Jake Cummings gets himself up into that 3rd podium position. The pass is completed, and that's a pretty good move there from that driver coming back to claim some points that he did not get. In the last heat race, a couple of drivers, Athena Leclerc and Zach DeWale, both from St. Clair College, are going to take those cars on the hauler early. So not the result that group wanted. Meanwhile, Alex Hallinar moves up. In fact, Cale Davidson dropping down the order just a little bit. That gap continuing to grow. So Cale Davidson struggling a little bit. We've seen he's had some up and down moments, but probably not the best circumstances, Matt, that he's been a part of.
Yeah, we saw earlier that there was some sort of incident between Cale Davidson and Zachary DeWale. DeWale now out of this race. I'm not sure if that's connected, but we do have a replay, I think, of the incident between Davidson and DeWale. We'll see if Davidson here can make the pass on Penn College of Technology's Austin DeLong, as it says Robert Kiesel Jr. is also in the pit lane, so there might have been an incident from that Panther Esport car, and yes, it does look like he's into the pit lane. He's dropping spots now. Not quite sure why, though. Maybe a penalty?
Yeah, that could be, and we'll probably have a bit to catch up on, as will the stewards. But it could just be a bit of damage, as we've seen a lot of cars off, and yeah, it doesn't take too much, Matt, to need to replace the front wing or a tie rod on one of these F4 cars. But here you go. Cale Davidson has arrived on the scene. He is going to try and make a move here on this Pennsylvania College of Technology car. Austin DeLong playing his best defense right now. But, yeah, Cale Davidson is going to try and put that car where the blue car is not. Looks like he's going to have that done by the time he gets to this corner, and he's going to have his own run up onto the front stretch. And we'll see. Maybe Austin DeLong was thinking he was going to grab a tow right here, but that gap already opening up, and I think Cale Davidson is going to have this position.
Yeah, I think now that things have settled out here in race 2, going back a couple laps now, there was an incident between DeWale and Davidson up here on the Yokohama Bridge right now. We'll see what happened here. We did see DeWale kind of skirting through the grass right now, but a bit of a locker from Cale Davidson there, resulting in a bit of a spin, and DeWale had to take evasive action across the grass. Not sure if there was any damage there for DeWale. Maybe, if anything, something busted on that rear suspension. We'll see what we can catch up and maybe see a replay of what happened that put him out of the race later on.
Yeah, these drivers now catching back up to some of the live timing. Yeah, very tricky for some of these drivers to get navigated out to the end here. But coming to the green flag, 2 laps to go is going to be your race leader, Ball State University, Mohammed Alif. And working up to the lap traffic at this point in time. But the gaps, after all of that, Matt, gaps are pretty well calmed down. But Muhammad Alif, he's going to take this one home, and he's got about a little more than a lap to go to bring it to the house.
Yeah, a great second race from Muhammad Alif starting back. He's up 18 spots since the start of this race, started 19th. Will looking to finish on the top spot of the podium here. Another driver we got to have a big shout out to, almost sneakily up on the podium positions right now, Jake Cummings from Wingate University. He's currently 3rd. He started the second race in 27th, and he's now 3rd. Incredible drive from the 007 machine. Another driver up big as well, Cale Davidson. We saw him fight through the field, lose a couple spots, and now he's fighting back again, up 20 spots from starting in the 26th position. So lots of recovery drives here at the top of the field tonight, and things have definitely settled out now for drivers to catch their breath.
Yeah, they have, and there you go, Ball State up at the front, trying to make the most of that opportunity. Again, going to be very interesting to view the points when we meet again next week, Matt, where a lot of bigger names have foregone some of their point scoring opportunities to be filled in by other names that we typically see in that top 10, but finally getting some of those steps on the podium tonight. But here's a battle that's cooking here for the last lap, and you know it's the last lap, so Thomas Toomey in that Virginia car will be pushing, and Austin DeLong is right here in that 22 for the Wildcats. He's going to see if he can get some defense out of that car, but we're about halfway through the lap right now, and there's not a whole lot of passing going on unless you do something in the S's like we have seen from some of those drivers right there. And this battle as well raging on with Drexel University trying to hold off Aiken Lamar from Howard Community College.
Yeah, Muhammad Alif is taking the white flag, so there's 1 lap to go for him as these drivers are still racing to the line to take the white flag here. It's Thomas Toomey in that black 166 machine right now, trying to make a move here for the 7th position. Also, Cale Davidson trying to make a move on Alex Hallinar for the 5th position. So things calmed down there for a couple laps, Josh, but now it's heating up again as it looks like the guy who's going to get the overtake first here of all these battles is going to be Thomas Toomey. As they're going side by side, he's going to look around the outside of Austin DeLong here in turn 1.
Everybody wiggling under braking. There you go. The defense. He learned that trick from our previous run. Yeah, you can kind of run wide there with the defense, and he's keeping it going. So those drivers are coming down, but this is an opportunity for Thomas Toomey coming back down the track. It's not a move under braking, but that would get you some friends back at the hauler on the oval side where Austin DeLong is familiar. But I think that was all she wrote, and that is the winner, Muhammad Alif. The battle continuing right here. Cale Davidson does come across in front of Binghamton University through the grass for good measure. I do see that Virginia completed and actually has put a 1-second gap on Austin DeLong right there. But there you have it, and across the line. So it was up and down, but it's going to be a top 5 run for Cale Davidson. The Ball State University, that's a second Cardinal in this running order. His buddy is going to stand on top of the podium.
Yeah, I know, all things considered for Cale Davidson, after dropping down to, I believe, to 10th with, I believe, like 7 or 8 laps to go after some contact with DeWale from St. Clair College, I think he'll take a 5th place. That's just one of those races where you kind of have to accept that things didn't go your way tonight. But one driver who did have a race that went his way, Lucas Santos from the University of Minnesota, a great job from him tonight in both races. 2 second place finishes, even starting in ninth in second race after that top 10 grid reversal. So Lucas Santos has nothing to worry about tonight. He's got to be super proud of his effort and a great job from that Gopher machine, as our Muhammad Ali is burning it down on the front stretch.
Yeah, and he should. He started that race in, well, let's see, in 19th position according to our stats. So, yeah, he definitely the most. And by the way, he avoided all the trouble there on lap one. So, very good job from that driver. Well earned win. And Jake Cummings going to get his share of the podium donuts. And tell you what, anytime Matt, you can finish on the podium amongst the drivers that we saw tonight, it's a good deal.
Yeah, for sure, really. And Jake Cummings up 24 spots in race two. If you told him that he'd finish on the podium after starting in 27th, he'd probably tell you were on something that you got to get off, right? Telling you you're drunk, telling you you're crazy. But a 27th to third place drive is something that Jake Cummings is going to be proud of as we look at our final race two results. It's our Muhammad Ali from Ball State University on top of the podium once again here at the Australian Grand Prix. Lucas Santos with 2 second place finishes tonight for the University of Minnesota. A great race, great 2 races from him. And Jake Cummings up 24 spots in race 2 for Wingate University to round out your podium finishers. Mark Turek, he started on the front row here in race 2. He'll finish 4th for Penn College of Technology, with Cale Davidson being the second Cardinal in the running order for Ball State University in 5th. Alex Hallinar won race 1, but came 6th here in race 2 for Binghamton University, and Thomas Toomey in 7th for the University of Virginia. Austin DeLong had a good race. He'll finish in the 8th spot for the Penn College of Technology machine, and Jason Waller for Drexel University with a solid effort to finish in the 9th spot, and Aiken Lamar out of Howard Community College in 10th for your last points paying position. Lots of attrition in this field tonight. A couple other drivers still in the lead lap at the end here. Andrew Burrell from Clemson University, the leading Tiger and Orange Wheel Racing driver. Jason Satterley from Auburn University had an eventful second race to finish in 12th, and then Alexander Diamond and Robert Kiesel both 1 lap down. As well as Ethan Decatur from Valparaiso. Nick Stockner, 6 laps down. Athena Leclerc, Athena Leclerc in 17th is 7 laps down. And Zachary DeWale, 8 laps down in 18th. Josh, really lots of attrition in both races tonight, but all in all, great racing throughout the field still.
Yeah, there was a lot of action up on the screen that was fun, and a couple names that we saw up and down. But yeah, we're going to have a chance to chat with some of them. But first up and third place finisher is Jake Cummings from Wingate University. And Jake, walk us through that race. It was kind of tricky. We had our second safety car of the season in that race.
Yeah, that was very, very interesting after that incredibly disappointing heat race. Man, yeah, going from crashing on that first lap because of my own mistake, being a little spooked by Toomey into turn 1, and then starting last on the grid there for the feature. I was just thinking, okay, well, there's going to be carnage, definitely. So let me just go off the track to start with. And I went to the grass on the exit of 1, and it kind of worked. It kind of helped me a little bit, and then avoided the other thing. Caution came out. And then I just kept falling over and over and over, and I didn't even make that many passes on track, to be honest. They kept on just kind of having their own little incidents, and it's really difficult to drive here quickly, consistently, without making any errors, and it's also difficult to battle side by side of these things because any sort of contact, and it's usually pretty substantial, pretty dramatic. So definitely very happy to make it through all that after the bad luck in the heat race, which is kind of funny because last week I had my good race in the heat, and then feature I got taken out on lap 1. So it's got a bit of a reverse order this time. So as long as I can have one good race every week, I guess I'm happy enough. It's really difficult to practice with this track, though. Is very tricky, very unique in these cars.
Yeah, Jake obviously mentioned not the greatest first race, unfortunately, out very early on. Obviously, you're going to have to sit there a long time if you're out early in that first race. What are you doing in that waiting period between race 1 and race 2 to keep yourself fresh? Obviously, you have an hour and a half or so of practice before the qualifying session kicks off, but 25 minutes of downtime with no time on track. Do you get cold? Are you worried about that going into race 2?
Uh, sort of. And it's funny you mentioned cold. I didn't feel cold as in like, rusty, I guess, but more just like, okay, I didn't react well enough to the cold tires and just, lap one things very well in that first race. And that's what put me back there to get involved in that incident in the first place. So I created my own luck. So what can I do in this warm up after, waiting for 25 minutes on my phone on like iPhoney and whatever? Uh, to be better prepared for that going in. So I did like a practice start after like a really slow out lap and kind of felt how the tires would handle in race conditions on that first lap on the cold tires straight off the grid. And it kind of helped me figure out how to handle the car. And once we got through that carnage, it was just kind of uh, once I got once I passed this guy who's on the stream right now for the alumni win and the overall podium, I was just honestly, I wanted to take it easy, but it was just coming to me more and more. Car felt a lot nicer towards the end there, so I was just smashing it lap after lap, just because you never know what kind of opportunities might become available in front of you if they have any sort of issues or anything, and every little tenth can matter in the end. So it was definitely fun to enjoy it a little bit there. But yeah, while I was waiting, I was just on my phone, sitting on the floor so my shoulders don't ache in this chair. And just on iPhone and Twitter and stuff, just kind of hanging out. It was boring, and I didn't want to do it, but there wasn't much else I could do.
Well, I think it worked out in the end there, Jake, and we can't let you go without asking you your favorite question. Who makes this possible for you? Is there anybody that you want to shout out tonight with that podium finish?
Honestly, this is kind of unrelated, but I will just say thank you to Brennan Schulenberger. I shouted him out last time too, back on Monday. But thank you, Brennan Schulenberger, for coming out with me. We both got special invites to the Coca-Cola iRacing Series finale at the NASCAR Hall of Fame last night. Very spontaneous. Kind of figured it out like 5 hours before the event was starting that we were going to go, and he was very nice to meet me there. And we got on the sims in the leaderboard. We were behind NASCAR drivers and an ex-Coke driver, so we were pretty happy with that. And it was a really awesome event to go to, seeing William Byron, Kevin Harvick, Carson Hocevar, Raja Karuth, and others, of course. And just a really awesome event that NASCAR and the Hall of Fame put on. So thank you very much to him for coming out with me and making it a lot less awkward for me to go by myself. And thank you to them for putting on that awesome event.
Well, congrats there. Sounds like a fun evening, and congrats again on the podium finish yourself and Wingate University. And we'll surely be talking to you pretty soon up here in the booth again.
That's the hope, man. You were right last time. You guys were right last time, or whoever was in here. I guess it wasn't you guys, but whoever was commentating last time got it right. So I hope you guys are right too.
Well, there you go, Matt. That was third place finisher Jake Cummings, and we'll have an opportunity here to quickly talk to our second place finisher from the University of Minnesota, and Lucas Santos. Lucas, do you have a copy? And tell us about that race and those battles all night long.
Hello. Can y'all hear me?
We do, man. Walk us through everything that you were doing, and are you tired of staring at green cars yet?
Definitely. No, I'm joking. It was fun to have a little carrot on the stick throughout those races. Even though we finished P2 for both races, like it was fun to have someone to chase with. Throughout both races, like I've kind of been in that position before, where all of a sudden there's a wreck in front of you, and all you need to do is like have survival instincts take over, and get you through the wreck. And after that, it's just now calm the body down, get your mind into it, and just put down laps. The team back in Screech and Moose Motorsports has extremely helped me out with that mindset. Like I can hear my teammates kind of not nagging me in a bad way, but telling me like, "Hey, breathe, calm down. You got this. You know what you're doing." So yeah, that was just for both races, was making sure that the mindset's good, the body feels fine, and then just taking the opportunities as they come, whether that's a move into the first corner, making sure that there's a run onto the front straight, or just staying behind them and filling up their mirrors. So that's what both races felt like for me today.
Yeah, Lucas, great job tonight. 2 second place finishes. You can't be too mad with that one. Giant points haul for you and the University of Minnesota machine. But I want to talk about there at the end when you were fighting with Art Muhammad Leaf there. You saw him charging at the end of the race, trying to get that lead from you there. We saw you fight pretty hard for a couple laps, but Unfortunately, couldn't hold on quite forever, or quite long enough. But how long were you planning to fight that one out all the way to the end if you had the opportunity? This track can be very, very tough to pass on. So, do you think you had a chance there, given the pace of a Leaf?
Honestly, when I saw him pop up on my relative, I was like, okay, you know what? Just survive as long as you can. Pull maybe one or two defenses, and then if he has the move, like, don't fight it too much. We're already in a good position, anyways. So even if it's one position down, that's okay. At least from my standards, we're still on the podium. But given the chance of defending a Leaf until the end, I would have absolutely taken it. I mean, I think most of the drivers, or if not all the drivers here, would take that opportunity to defend someone for the lead until the end of the race, whether that's a Leaf, whether that's me, or whoever it is. It's a win's a win. So you're gonna try and go for it no matter what. And at least at my track knowledge here, just driving it with my friends, and then the practice sessions that I had alone, like I had some knowledge of where it would be valid to overtake, where it would be valid to defend, and just I try to put everything out there. And unfortunately, it didn't happen. But we'll take anything that we can today. So yeah.
And is there anybody, Lucas, before we turn you loose, that you want to thank that makes this possible for you and your race team?
Absolutely. First, I just got to say a big thank you for the Scoochie Moose Motorsports. As I said before, they've made me the driver that I am today when it comes to mindset, when it comes to driver skill, when it comes to driver IQ and racecraft. I just want to say a massive thank you for them and all their support. All the logos on the car, Operation Motorsport, Moto Emotion, Sports Car Travel, Torx, everybody that's on the car, thank you so much for your support into the team and for all the drivers here. Thank you to you guys for always putting on such a good show on broadcast and making these series possible, like the Formula C and the GTs that we used to know. That's how I really got into this, and since then it's been great. So a massive thank you for you guys for making this community.
Well, we always enjoy the drivers being part of the community, and congrats on that second position on the podium, Lucas in Minnesota. Very strong run tonight, and you earned it.
Thank you. You guys have a good one.
Yeah, Matt sounds like a driver who's grateful to come out of the calamity, but I think you heard, right? It's not a coincidence. Here's a driver who has worked a lot on the mental side. We've heard that from him before, and he's very conscious, even in Discord, about keeping control of emotions and excitement. And I think that shows tonight because there was a lot of bedlam on track. And yeah, Matt, he just went through it all.
Yeah, sometimes you sometimes hear, one time you can get lucky. If you do it multiple times at that point, then it's becoming more of a skill thing for the driver to really get through some of this chaos. And it's both times in both races. He didn't start super close to the front in race one. He got through the chaos on lap one, race one. He started 10th, or excuse me, 9th for race two. Got through the chaos there as well. So. Doing a great job to keep his head on his shoulders there and just kind of control what he could control and make his way through the field. And it's paid off massively for that Gopher machine tonight. As 2 second place finishes, it's going to be a great points haul for that 05 machine. Most points of any driver tonight.
Yeah, that's a very good, no, great points, and already hustling through the points this season. And so the University of Minnesota and Lucas Santos continue to work their way up the season rankings. But now we get a chance to speak with the race winner, Ball State University Cardinal Muhammad Alif, and walk us through both those events. I think you drove in the second heat. Alif, you drove from 19th to first place.
Yeah, what a win. Good comeback drive. I think that was the target going into that race. Race one, I think the stewards deemed it was a racing incident. So yeah, it was a crazy incident. I think a lot of people got taken out. And then race two was just, I think, finding my way through the traffic, just placing my car in good position, good places, and then just try to yeah, that last fight for the lead was with Lucas was very challenging, but good win.
Yeah, Alif, we saw a great race there, but obviously the start of race two, we saw the full course caution come out, and you spent a couple laps behind the pace car there. You coming off the start, you can look at it two ways, right? You're bunching up the pack, but you're losing laps to make the moves for to get towards the front. So were you excited to see that pace car coming out, thinking everybody's going to stay bunched up and you can pass them more quickly, or were you a little more worried about it because you were running out of laps?
Kind of just, yeah, I would say the first one. Just excited to get the race going. I mean, we had 15 laps after the pace car went in. I think I felt it was enough, and seeing how I think a lot of people kind of took themselves out of the race, yeah, just helped the cause a bit more.
And it would not be a CIL race-winning interview if we did not ask you who makes this possible and who you wanted to shout out before we let you go.
Yep, I would like to thank my teammates, Kale, Lucas, and all the academy drivers as well as our esports director, Dan Marino, my family who's watching from back in Singapore, and I'd say the whole school I dedicated to the Ball State University.
Well, there you have it, and it's a good one to dedicate to the crew. Great recovery drive. Congrats on the win, and enjoy your evening.
Thank you.
Yeah, Matt, we looked at the starting grid. We saw that Ball State car in 19th position, and we wondered how far up the order it would go, but it went quite quickly. And just too bad we did not get to see Jordan Johnson, who's going to be competing for the championship, probably as it starts to take shape here. But as we talk about the championship, Matt, we cannot omit Minnesota, Binghamton, St. Clair College has put a number of runs together. In fact, 3 of the 4 races have been, really good for St. Clair, specifically Athena Leclerc, as we get into this season. And so it's all coming together, Matt, but there's no clear race leader.
Yeah, for sure. I'd say right now you could point to the most consistent driver maybe being R. Muhammad Alif. But honestly, much like it is in Formula One this season, if you take out R. Muhammad Alif and just his immense pace and consistency behind him, it's an absolute melting pot of drivers who are behind him. It could be his teammate, Cale Davidson. It could be Athena Leclerc, Lucas Santos. It could be any number of drivers on the track that night fighting for positions and race wins with not only Alif, but the drivers around him. So it's been an incredible season to watch so far. I've had a lot of fun watching it. I think tonight was definitely a wild card race with it being such a narrow and short track with just chaos around every corner and grass around every apex that really challenged these drivers to dig deep to another level and kind of navigate their way through the chaos, much like Lucas Santos did tonight. I think he did the best job of navigating the chaos and knowing not to overdrive the car and the race would come to him, and I think it paid off for him immensely tonight. He's going to jump up the championship order a lot now, given his results.
Yeah, I think that's true, and going to be a good haul of points, as you say. And so, looking ahead, we are heading to next Wednesday, Circuit of the Americas, and that's going to be very exciting. We're going to see a lot more of this again, left, right, left, back and forth. It's going to be very exciting for these drivers. So, from all of us here at CIL, here at Oran Park and atop the podium tonight, thank you for watching. We will see you again when the green flag drops next Wednesday here, and also next Monday for you Oval fans with the CIL Cup Series. That's going to be the green flag at 9 p.m. Eastern. And from all of us up here, myself, Josh, and Matt in the booth, thank you and stay fast.